scrolling. This is absurd. Have y'all seen that fake Kamala Harris ad that Elon Musk posted to his personal Twitter account? If you haven't, buckle up, brace yourselves, and watch this.
I, Kamala Harris, am your Democrat candidate for president because Joe Biden finally exposed his senility at the debate. Thanks, Joe. I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I'm both a woman and a person of color. So if you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist.
I really hope y'all brace yourselves.
I may not know the first thing about running the country, but remember, that's a good thing if you're a deep state puppet. I had 4 years under the tutelage of the ultimate deep state puppet, a wonderful mentor, Joe Biden. Joe taught me rule number 1, carefully hide your total incompetence.
It gets worse.
I take insignificant things and I discuss them as if they're significant. And I believe that exploring the significance of the insignificant is in itself significant.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time. Right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time, and there is such great significance to the passage of time.
Another trick is trying to sound black. I pretend to celebrate Kwanzaa, and in my speeches, I always do my best Barack Obama impression. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
There, for some reason, is debate amongst some Republicans as to whether or not Kamala Harris is black. This is her dad. Her dad is Jamaican. Also, look at him. You don't need to be from Africa to be black. Neither do your parents. Not to mention, at least in the early 2000s, a lot of Jamaica's makeup was people of some form of African descent. European African, Chinese African, East Indian African, West African. Case in point, Kamala Harris does not need to pretend to be black. She is black every single day.
And okay, look, maybe my work addressing the root causes of the border crisis were catastrophic, but my knowledge of international politics is truly shocking.
The United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. It is an alliance that is strong and enduring.
And just remember, when voting this November, it is important to see what can be, unburdened by what has been. And by what has been, I mean Joe Biden. You think the country went to over the past 4 years? You ain't seen nothing yet.
At the time I saw Elon Musk's tweet, it had over 100 million views. Notice, no community note. During an election year, Elon Musk posted an AI Kamala Harris ad and didn't clarify it was AI. That is so dangerously irresponsible, but because it came from Elon Musk, I am simply not surprised. This is the danger of AI. 2024 sucks.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. As always, let's jump right into it. Of course, with a Black, Asian, female candidate for presidency, of course, the misogyny, the anti-Blackness, the anti-immigrant sentiment is going to come out. It's going to reign supreme. So why not keep faking things? And for anybody that's still stuck on, oh, my vote doesn't count. If your vote doesn't count, why are people spending money to create fake robocalls, AI-generated campaign videos to try to sway you from voting? And that's not where it stops. If you're on TikTok, then you've seen the amount of anti-Blackness within the pro-Palestinian movement. You do realize that there are people legitimately hired by the GOP to do just that. Although they want, speaking of the GOP, to wash their hands of Trump, they're still bigots. They still want to deter you because while everybody is focused on the presidential election, Everybody has forgotten about the congressional elections. AIPAC is just going down a checklist of whoever has stood up against them and against Israel and checking them off the list. They're putting money into other candidates to get them in because they're banking on, okay, everybody's loving VP Harris. We'll ride that vote blue no matter who. So they're putting Democrats in that are dinos, Democrat in name only. Because so often people just tell you vote down ballot. No, vote up the ballot and look at each individual candidate. It is 2024. You can legitimately see all of where their money is coming from. You can see their track record. Because there is no way that people are popping out of the woodwork and having the budget to out campaign people right now. They're using the same tactics that they have over and over and over again, starting with, and I tell you this all the time, they start with the school boards. Over the weekend, there was a special on MSNBC, and they were talking to people, and they were like, I thought school boards were supposed to be nonpartisan. No, the GOP is putting money into those people because it's the first step. You get known as being on the school board. Then they put you in as alderman or assemblyman or council member. Then you move up to mayor. Then the state legislature. You've built up a name, you've built up a reputation. People recognize your face. And this is why we now have the least effective Congress in the history of colonized United States. So while everybody's going back and forth, if you vote for Kamala, I hate you. And her name is Kamala. But if you vote for Trump, we're all dead. Well, what about Jill Stein? What about Congress? A few months ago, everybody understood that Congress holds the purse strings. That everything has to go to Congress before it gets to the desk in the Oval. Now that VP Harris is the presumptive Democratic nominee, everyone has forgotten how the government works. Y'all just learned how it worked, and now you've forgotten it. You know, sometimes it gets frustrating being a teacher. This is why I can't stand summer breaks. Give them a few weeks off. The only one that it truly matters if they get into the Oval, will they ignore everything, go rogue, shit on the Constitution and everything, is Trump. Because we all know he doesn't know how anything works. The man doesn't even know how toilets work. His words, not mine. But anybody else who's going to uphold the Constitution knows the job description. Y'all are letting Congress slip right in between your fingers again. Again. To the point that now folks are putting out letters. This is how dumb people are. You're putting out letters threatening the current second in command. The current second in command. Because you all feel that you are the main character in some epic Lifetime movie. Instead of being based in reality and having a solid plan. Have you contacted our UN ambassador? Nope, I know you haven't. Because 3 different times online, I've put out her contact information. Even told you what to write. Have you contacted the ambassadors of other countries? Have you contacted your Congress members? Do you even know who's running for congressional office in your district? AIPAC has been riddled with FBI investigations and espionage since its conception. Why are you not ringing the phones off the hook at every substation of the FBI within the United States in order to get them investigated again and have their assets frozen so that they can stop interfering in elections? Because they're interfering in elections right in front of your face. But no, you think the best plan is to withhold your vote from a viable candidate, protest just that candidate, and go, but Trump's a lost cause. Trump's a lost cause. And then you want to keep bringing up Jill Stein. Jill Stein, the sympathizers. She's a sympathizer for those that are also fueling this genocide in Israel. She's also a very well-known, very out in the open Russian asset. Because I know y'all have already forgotten about Ukraine. But as long as you're getting clicks, likes, and views, and you can feel like the main character in the movie, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's very much right now giving the overturning of the Dobbs decision, aka Roe v. Wade. You want to put on a few costumes. You want to pretend like you care. You want to drive up your numbers. You want to cash in that internet check and then roll off into the sunset. And see, the overturning of Dobbs didn't get real for people until they started bleeding out in hospital parking lots, until their sisters, their cousins, their friends started dropping. You're tired of other countries criticizing politics within the United States, and people are like, well, United States citizens, everybody else is able to revote. How come you all can't? True, they do not understand how large the United States is. I get that. But they're also right. Y'all all want to be the leader, and you don't know how to lead yourself out of a damn box that's already been cut open. You say all these things and tell people not to do this and not to do that, but you have no plan of action. And you all jump onto movements just to let your bigotry out under the guise of it's for the movement. Being transphobic, being anti-Black, being homophobic, being misogynistic is not for anything. It is not in favor of any cause. You do not care about the families being completely wiped out generation after generation after generation. There are families that no longer exist in countries right now because of the ongoing genocide. There are children who will never be able to procreate should they want to because of injuries sustained because of multiple genocides. You can miss me with this you care. You don't care because you don't have a plan. Because when something truly affects you, you come up with a plan in 2.3 business seconds. You have it completely worked out. You got subcommittees. You got a treasurer, a secretary. You already got notes printed out. You got flyers. You got everything. I'm old enough to remember that when pharmaceutical companies were really, truly railroading, especially the elderly, within weeks, people organized and were taking caravans up to Canada to get Meemaw and Papaw their medicine and bring it back down to the States. I'm old enough to remember MADD, M-A-D-D, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. When they said enough was enough, they had campaigns in every school from coast to coast. In a matter of weeks. When you thought the world was going to end, when we went from 1999 to 2000, it took y'all less than a semester of school of time to build shelters, get food together, teach yourselves how to purify rainwater and garden and everything else. And you're going to tell me now with the most technology that civilians have been able to access easily, and with the advent of social media where you can speak to people in real time around the globe, y'all can't come together with a plan? You're pissed off at all these politicians, but how many of y'all checked my link tree and looked at my guideline to helping Palestine, and before you did your taxes this year, made sure that no war taxes were taken out? You worried about Palestine, right? You pissed off at everybody else, but you ain't pissed off at the fact that you legitimately have war taxes coming out and going over there, because that's the money that they're approving to send over to Israel. Oh, oh, oh. You still getting 67 packages delivered because it's convenient for you, but you mad at everybody else. And you're not looking at how you're contributing to it. You want to do all this infighting for what? You want to break down a movement that has been established before you were a twinkle in your mama and daddy's eye. For what? Because your ego isn't being stroked enough? Somebody is not equating you to Mahatma Gandhi. Somebody's not equating you to Malcolm X. Somebody's not equating you to Walker, Bethune. None of that. Is that what your issue is? And attacking Black people is the most asinine thing ever. Because since the creation of Israel, Black people have stood beside the Palestinian people in order for them to fight to get their land back. But now you want to pull the ultimate bite the hand that feeds you. Y'all want to fuck everything up and tell Black people to sit down, shut up. Just be the poster child. Just go along with whatever we say. Cosplay slavery for us that one good time. And then when it goes to shit, the combativeness doesn't go away. You get combative because then you want us to fix it. And when we say no, we're tired because we're fighting to stay alive. Let me repeat that. We're fighting to stay alive. Plus fighting for everybody else. And when we go, you know what? We're tired. We need some self-care days. You get pissed. And if I hear one more person act like they are traumatized by watching Black people get attacked on the fucking internet, I'm going to cuss you out. Because the trauma is in getting attacked. And while you're sitting there watching it like it's your favorite Olympic event, when did you step in? When did you call in your kindred that was being problematic? When did you tell them stop? When did you stand in between? I've said it before. I'm going to say it till I have no more breath in my body. Do not require of somebody else what you are not willing to give. Do not require for me to stand in front of you to shield you and to fight for you if you are not willing to do it for me, because I will leave you where you stand, because you have told me that's what you want me to do, because I can't fight for you and fight with you. We can fight together to move forward, but I can't fight with you and for you at the same time. And I'm not going to fight with you. I will walk away. And this whole pity party, well, it just took a couple of people for you to leave. It didn't take a couple of nothing for you to leave us. And it ain't just a couple. It's not just a couple non-agreeable comments. It's not just a couple of names being called. Your entire body would shut down if you saw the immense amount of death threats and doxings that happen every time you decide to weaponize anti-blackness because you can't force a black person to tap dance to the beat that you want us to tap dance to. But then it'll be quick to turn around and tell us, well, the black community isn't a monolith. No shit, Sherlock. Nor are we your entertainment, nor are we your free labor. If you're treading water out in the middle of the ocean and I'm standing there with a life preserver, would you want me to throw that life preserver out to help you? Or would you want me to throw chum in the water so you get attacked by sharks as I throw rocks at you? Because the latter is what you're doing to the black community right now. And since nobody else wanted to tell you rough and raw, I'm telling you rough and raw. Nope, I didn't lube it up first. Nope, I didn't buy you dinner first. Nope, I didn't give you a drink first. Because change comes through discomfort, and it's time for everybody to get uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable and fight for that comfort. Halloween is coming up, but Halloween is not every day. Y'all need to stop looking at catastrophes within the world as a chance to dress up. And then the moment you run out of makeup or costumes or a good wig, you're done with it. It's no different than the people who sat here for years, lying to your face, telling you universal health care wouldn't work. You don't need universal health care. And where are they going? They are fleeing this country to go to other countries where there's universal health care. Why? Because their medical bills are getting out of control. So these same people that are sowing the discourse when shit hits the fan, these are the same people who have the means to get the fuck out of Dodge. So while you pouring gasoline all in the yard, all over the house, and ready to light a match, realize you're standing in the house with us. And the people who riled you up to get you to that point, they're driving off with the fire truck. Let me repeat that. They're driving off with the fire truck. Because you look at all these large creators that already had coins before they became large creators. Yeah, let's tell the whole truth tonight. let's tell the whole truth tonight. You see them taking all these trips and doing all that. You really think they're gonna sit here when shit hits the fan? Absolutely not. They will lie to your face, rile you up, divide everything, turn this into an even worse hellscape than it already is on this third rock from the sun, and they will be chilling in paradise looking at you like, I don't know how they got here. I don't know what happened. And should they lose a few followers along the way, I'm going to show you what they're going to do. And then we'll talk about it on the other side.
Over the last couple of days, there have been a ton of conversation regarding the video I made and the live I did. I just want to say that I handled this in the absolute worst way possible. and I want to apologize. Watching the videos back of the live, I literally saw myself acting in anger and frustration towards a Black woman when that was just not the conversation that needed to be had. And I shouldn't have even gone on live. I should have texted Tori directly and just apologized. But I had a lot of ego and anger about it, and I handled it so poorly. I never ever made the video in Tori trying to pit people against a Black woman, but looking back, like, that should have never happened. Sometimes I forget that my platform has as much power as it does. I've been doing this for 7 years, and I should have known that it would have been this harmful. And that was me. I was ignorant. A lot of
Dismissive, infantilizing of self, explaining it away, putting the onus on everyone but herself. She didn't apologize to Tori. She didn't apologize to the Black community. She apologized for acting out of the character that she had presented over the past 7 years to the internet. Tell me I'm wrong. Because that dismissive, I'm sorry. I watched myself back. Yeah. And you looked at all the comments and you took notes from the comments, and she regurgitated what she saw in the comments. And there are people eating it up. But how many more times are you, first of all, y'all going to accept apologies to communities that you're not a part of? You cannot accept on behalf of someone else. This is not an awards show, and nobody from that community asked you to accept on their behalf because they had something else to do. Number one. Number two, people from that community, when are you going to get through your head that forgiveness is not for you, it's for the other person? I think that is the biggest lie that has been told to society. It is the most toxic, victim causing bullshit ever. Blanket forgiveness absolves the other person from accountability. They don't have to atone for what they did, they don't have to admit what they did. And stop letting white passing and white women just go, "Oh, I didn't know. I didn't have any idea." You knew when you were liking racist comments. You knew when you were liking comments and videos that were brimming with misogynoir. You doubled down. You changed your caption. You were methodical. You just thought more people would be on your side. And because not just anti-Blackness, but a subset, a very particular subset of anti-Blackness, which is anti-Black woman, generally gets everybody to come together in kumbaya and take the side of whoever is perpetuating anti-Black womanness. But it didn't happen this time. And at the end of the day, who was helped? Who was helped? What plan came out of it? Because this young lady was so emboldened to mute a Black woman. Let me just say this, keep talking over her. You knew exactly what you were doing. You felt entitled to do it. But at the end of the day, what plan of action came out of it? What is the course of action? What is the end goal? And don't just say, oh, a ceasefire or an end to the genocide. After that, what is the goal? Where are these people going to go? Where are they going to get the resources to rebuild? The children who have been orphaned, what's going to happen to them? Y'all don't think about the details because you're going to do what you always do. If we get a ceasefire or BB from Philly finally gets to complete his trial and he gets out of there, you're going to walk away. Because I remember the outrage with the kids in cages. The vast majority of those children still have not been reunited with their families. Only thing y'all really keep up with is Gypsy Rose, the narcissistic manipulator who's on her way back to prison for for parole violation. But you like it, I love it. Y'all love placating to white women. And if you think I'm joking, you think I'm being bigoted or biased, y'all remember the Olympics, right? And we got to witness the ultimate show of white privilege mixed with default damsel in distress before our eyes. Because now we're being gaslit into our critiques of a certain breakdancer being rooted in misogyny.
Child, finding out that this was a social experiment by the breakdancing lady at the Olympics makes the story all the more funnier. Now, shout out to Tasty Quiche over on X. They wrote this tweet and it said, so the breakdance lady from Australia was doing a social experiment talking about white access to breaking and social hierarchy. They go on to say she wrote a paper about it and somehow she made it through the Olympics with all of her nonsense, which shows she was playing in our faces. Honey child, we got the paper, so let's go through it and see some of the nonsense that she was writing about. If you think the paper doesn't start with straight foolishness, you'd be absolutely incorrect. On this portion of the article, she says hip-hop culture is meritocracy. Meritocracy, which is a political term which means that the power held by the people who have the abilities. Baby, nothing about hip hop culture has anything to do with ability. It is something that is just ingrained in you. She goes on to say, the more you participate in hip hop culture, the more likely you will be considered authentic and win events and gain respect and authority within the scene. Now, this is a part of the story where everyone was up. At the beginning of this, she was talking about how her persona as B-girl, Reagan, is a personification. And she says, why would we make such a confession? Acknowledging the elephant in the room, such a confession goes against our understanding of the living and breathing of hip hop. It affects our cred or credentials or our rep. She goes on to say, we might be tempted to position our double lives within hip hop's long history of creating characters and personas. What? I got to read that back. She said, one might be tempted to position our double lives within hip hop's long history of creating characters and personas to tell a story. She thinks that hip hop is a personification of characters. See, this is how she ended up at the Olympics, Fran. Then she makes this anecdote here and says, are we voyeurs, like watching in? Are we culturally appropriating hip hop? Yes. Because, girl, when we all saw this, we didn't know. We wasn't sure, friend. We wasn't ready. We was not ready for whatever this mess was. And y'all, it keeps going because in this portion of her paper, she says that hip hop has always been a space for young people, particularly those expressing disadvantages, to express themselves and gain a new reputation outside of how they've been described, which is true. Don't worry, she's about to have y'all up. Now she continues and says, however, if commitment is the key contributor to authenticity, do those with the greatest privilege, education, and mobility have an easier means to be considered the most authentic? Somehow in this paper, she's basically saying that in order to be authentically hip hop outside of Black culture, you need to have privilege, education, and mobility. Basically, in a nutshell, she writes this entire paper to talk about the disadvantages her, being an Australian woman, has been having getting into the hip hop culture. She also talks about how much it cost her to travel to Europe and the United States to learn authentic ways of breakdancing. Then basically this step-by-step guide on how to become more authentic in our culture. Now here's the kicker. According to Tasty Quiche, they go on to say also the B folks or the breakdance folks in her country have been loud on social media talking about how they never heard about any tryouts or trials for the Olympics. So the real ones didn't even get a chance to compete. They finish out and say, this is many levels of complicity and dedication to making a mockery of a culture. Couldn't have said it better myself, friend.
You know how in the past few years, scientists have had to update information regarding dinosaurs and etc. This is how it is with white people who want to write on cultures that are not theirs. Because just like Miss Rachel Gunn, it's evident she didn't go to these places to be ingrained to learn authentic breakdancing. She didn't talk to anybody within the culture. She treated hip hop culture as if exhibits in a museum or at a zoo. Everything about her says like she was looking at an animal trying to figure out what they were thinking while they got to this point. And of course, per usual, she sprinkled in some projection. She was living a double life. She's a trained ballroom dancer. And the ballroom dancing community has not made it a secret that they want ballroom dancing to be an Olympic event. Personally, I'm here for it. And someone today said that ballroom dancing would be the Summer Olympics version of ice skating. Can't argue with that. But to think that the easiest way to get in, the easiest form of art to learn is an art form created by the Black community is diabolical. And before you think I'm reaching, please let me say it again. Let me remind you, I don't like to exercise that much. I don't reach for shit. Okay? Get somebody else to do it. Why else would she be involved in such a scheme and think that it would be so easy to infiltrate hip hop culture and emulate it? Because I don't know if you saw any of her rounds at the Olympics. It's almost like she watched Breaking 1 and 2 because it was the embodiment of Malibu's Most Wanted. And she did an interview. I do have it up on my TikTok page where she said, "Oh, my musicality. Of course, I can do this because of my musicality." Some things you just feel. Some things connect people on a level that words cannot describe. But they're gonna colonize till the day they die. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. It's no longer called colonizing. It's gentrification. And for people saying that the critiques of Miss Reagan is rooted in misogyny. And I knew that excuse was going to come when Miss Reagan took to her Instagram page after that piss poor performance at the Olympics. And was like, "Well, I can't wait to see you guys critique what the B-boys have to wear tomorrow." Girl, didn't nobody say nothing about what you were wearing. We were trying to figure out what you were doing. Looking like a fish out of water, literally. But if you want to take a look at misogyny, we can do that too.
I do not understand, and it's not just Black women, men in general and women in general, that a woman will do whatever her boss says, but barely do what her husband asks. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know how you can be to work on time every day at 8 a.m. But to make me a turkey sandwich is a problem, right? Or to do something for me is a problem. I don't understand it. Right? I don't understand how we've gotten to the place where we're so independent. There's no interdependency, that you're so independent that you will allow another man to dictate your whole life. But the man that you sleep with and love and say you love, he can't tell you one thing.
Ooh, the layered misogyny. And what do I mean by layered? First of all, he assumes that every boss is a man. Second of all, he assumes that women just take orders from their bosses. Number one, you go to work to fulfill a job description that you agreed upon for money. Then, did you all catch how he described a relationship with a woman? The man, if he tells you you can't go do this for him, he can't tell you what to do. No, she's not your child. And why can't you go make your own sandwich? Yeah, we're gonna get up and go to work at 8 o'clock because that's what we agreed to do. When you entered into that relationship, what did you agree to do? She's not supposed to be your servant. Like some of these people, y'all got shit all the way fucked up. All the way completely fucked up. Trust me, somebody like me and how you curled up in the corner crying. Have you bawling your fucking eyes out. Go make me a sandwich. Ask Jesus for a sandwich when you see him in the next 20 minutes. Ask Allah, Buddha, and a few Hindu gods to make you a sandwich because you going to them, because you going to the upper room. I got one daddy and he don't even talk to me like that. That's right. We gon' fight. Yeah. My own daddy would not dare talk to me like that. Okay. Forget sending him to a nursing home. Okay. I'm going to send him to my mama and his mama. Okay. And his daddy and his two older brothers. It's going to be a family reunion in the sky above the stars. But I can't believe a woman can take it. And see, when men say stuff like that, my first question is, you ain't got a job? You you not working? Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Things we not doing around here for 1,000, Alex. Because if anybody was over on Babe's account and saw some videos, there's one. He knew preemptively at the bottom. These just jokes, babe. Just like our ancestors teach us how to season, our ancestors will teach us how to make your body disappear. Yeah, everybody keeps saying they want a traditional woman. Y'all do remember traditional women wasn't divorcing their husbands, okay? Husbands was just disappearing, okay? Your granddaddy that you know, that's your grandma's fourth husband. Y'all ain't biologically linked than a motherfucker. And every traditional woman had that one friend, that one spinster friend that had one big pantry in her house that didn't have no food in it. You catch what I'm putting down? Women used to cook with cast iron skillets for multiplicity. The original Fight Club was in your mama and papa's house, and your great grandpappy and your great grandmama's house. That was the original Fight Club. Did nobody talk about that Fight Club? Okay. They was knocking each other between the wall and the refrigerator. Okay. Granddaddy didn't start off with that tattoo. That's a permanent indentation from the Frigidaire, from the icebox. He told grandma to shut the fuck up one too many times. And she said, one of us gonna shut up forever. Remember, traditional women handled all the money. So he couldn't leave. She might not have been able to put shit in her name, but that motherfucker couldn't leave. He ain't know what bank his shit was going in. He ain't know how much was in the bank and how much she put on her side of the mattress. And you talk about traditional men and women. Traditional men would be able to take care of two households on two different sides of town, both living equally in a house with a mortgage, brand new car, new clothes for the kids. Y'all better shut the fuck up with this traditional wife shit. People can put up with a whole bunch of shit when you get to go shopping every Saturday. Yeah, I grew up with a traditional grandma. Every Saturday. Saks Fifth Avenue. Back when they used to give you champagne when you was in the dressing room. That's what she was. Okay. Dad with a closet full of shit with price tags still on it. Upgrades on jewelry every anniversary. Yeah, y'all ain't got traditional pockets. And them women ran those households. Ran them. Because these same traditional women are the ones that house civil rights activists. These are the same women that were suffragettes. And these are even women that joined the temperance movement, to get rid of the liquor. And they was going into bars with baseball bats, busting shit up. So y'all think everybody June Cleaver, but there was way more Annie Oakleys running around. Y'all talking about, we're the daughters of the witches that survived. Bitch, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're the daughters of Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, and Annie Oakley, motherfucker. Be proud of that shit. Shoot a bitch in the face. The fuck? Absolutely not. Absolutely freaking not. Now, hold on. Okay. Real quick, scrolling across the bottom of the screen. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Bring a friend back with you next time. We'll see you back on Thursday with I Found a White Girl, Pam. Before you think, oh, you're being bigoted. No, it's a joke. You'll see if you come back Thursday. But there is a new blog up on the Camp Taz blog. Links down here. If you're not subscribed with notifications on, what are you doing? What are you doing with life? Are you anti-Taz? You shouldn't be anti-Taz. I'm cute and cuddly. When supervised. When not supervised, it's fun. It is fun. You should have bail money though. You should definitely have bail money. But it is fun. You will have memories. You'll have memories when I'm not supervised. And do not forget to join me tomorrow over on TikTok. I know I took 2 weeks off. I did lose a very, very, very dear friend of mine. And I really, being honest with you, I'm still trying to figure out how to navigate this. Because I didn't know what friendship was till her. And I honestly haven't truly lived life without her. So, but the book series, Lies About Black People, we will pick that back up tomorrow on TikTok. In the morning, I will set a live event. Sorry, got a brain fart as to what it was called over there. to let everybody know, and I'll send out a video so you can sign up for the live and it'll give you a notification. As always, it is free. Another note in the programming for anyone that wants to join the group history classes or the individual history classes, those will be picking back up in September. And I will get the information as to what portion of history we're going to be starting with. And we're going to go from there. But as always, thank you for joining me. And if you enjoyed tonight's broadcast, please share it. Share it with your friends. Share it with your families. Share it with somebody you don't like. Piss them off. But as always, each one teach one, each one reach one. Till next time, y'all. And I would tell y'all to behave, but I don't behave. But do your best.